What's going on, guys? It's Jimmy here with your second stimulus check update. In this video, we're going to talk about how President Donald Trump is gathering support for the $2,000 stimulus check. We're also going to hear a response from Joe Biden and the Democrats. We're also going to talk about the virus, and I have another rental assistance program that just might pay your rent. I'm going to give you all the details of it in this video. Don't forget to give this video a like, and if you're new here, make sure to subscribe down below. All right, let's jump on into it. New information is coming out that the virus that came out from China may have been covered up worse than what we thought, and that China launched an obscene effort to protect its own image at the expense of the rest of the world.
A new report exposing China's actions in the early days of the pandemic, indicating the Chinese government censored and suppressed alarming information on the severity of the virus. Joining us now on that in these brand new details is Gordon Chang. Gordon, good morning to you. So what are you able to take away now from the details that are being provided about the early days of the spread of this virus?
Well, China has always censored information, but what we saw during the coronavirus episode for China really was extraordinary controls. And it was not just censoring information, it was also creating disinformation to distract people. And they did this not only in China, but they also did this externally. So, for instance, on March 12th, the foreign ministry went on a Twitter storm, and this is official Chinese government. What they did was they blamed the United States because they said that coronavirus patient zero was in the U.S., and it was the U.S. Army, or they suggested it was the U.S. Army that brought the disease to Wuhan, the epicenter. So we know that China's efforts were greater than they've ever been in the past.
We're left wondering, hearing that and reading this report, Gordon, and wondering how differently things could have turned out had there been more information provided, or had China not tried to issue this campaign to control the narrative of the pandemic.
Well, if they had not tried to censor information, the world would have known about this in December, and we would have taken steps to prevent the spread of the disease. There were at least 5 weeks when Chinese leaders knew this disease was highly contagious, but they were able to control information so that people on the outside just didn't think about this. So I think that essentially what we're seeing is that this did not need to be a global pandemic.
Even as a vaccine is coming out, there's new strains of the virus spreading now across the world, particularly in the United Kingdom. And the US will begin requiring people flying from the United Kingdom to test negative from the virus before they can actually land in the United States. The test has to be no more than 72 hours before departure. That's similar to the restrictions in Hawaii, or if you go to Hawaii, you have to actually go into quarantine for 14 days if you don't have a negative test within 72 hours. Now, the vaccine is rolling out in the United States, but very, very slowly. 1 million Americans have been vaccinated in 10 days. That kind of sounds like a lot, but not when you think about that there's 330 million people in the US, and it took 10 days to do 1 million, so 30 days in a month means we're doing about 3 million people a month right now at this current pace. 3 million, there's 300 million in the United States, so yeah. On stimulus first, there's new polls out on the Senate Georgia runoff race that is going to determine whether the Senate turns Democrat or turns Republican. Remember, the Democrats have to win both of these Senate runoff races, which is basically like a re-election in Georgia, basically a tiebreaker election. Both Senate seats in Georgia are up for re-election. The Senate is currently 50 Republicans and 48 Democrats, 46 Democrats and 2 independents that almost always vote Democrats. So if the Democrats can win both seats, then the tiebreaker would go to Kamala Harris, and the Democrats would basically have the Senate, the House, and the presidency going forward. So these 2 Senate seats that are going to happen on January 5th, but there's already pre-voting right now through early mail-in voting and different such voting that's already happening. And it looks like it's actually 1 Republican winning and 1 Democrat winning. As you can see here, Purdue has now taken the lead in one of the Republican seats by 0.5%, 48.2% to 47.7% to the Democrat candidate Ossoff. And I'll scroll down here so you can see this other one is still being led by the Democratic candidate Warnock. Remember, the Democrats have to win both of these seats, which they were winning just a week ago, and they are very, very close. Literally, both of these seats are within like a 0.5% of either party winning. That will be very important going forward for the Senate and for stimulus talks, because if the Democrats win both seats, then Mitch McConnell will not be the Senate Majority Leader anymore. It will go to a Democratic candidate, which likely will be Chuck Schumer. So, yeah, big changes there. And also, if the Democrats do win both seats there, then the Democrats might be able to pass the largest stimulus package ever known to history without any Republican support at all. It's going to be a very interesting one. Also, a lot of Republicans are taking a lot of heat that by not agreeing to this $2,000 stimulus package, $2,000 stimulus check that President Donald Trump is the one demanding, is making Republicans look bad and is making a lot of people think, well, maybe we should vote Democratic in Georgia because the Republicans don't want to give us a larger stimulus check, even though President Donald Trump does. And if the Republicans don't win in Georgia, they won't have control of the Senate anymore. Then the Democrats will have control of the House and the Senate and the presidency. So the Republicans are taking a lot of heat right now because they're the ones that don't want to pass the $2,000 stimulus check, which ironically comes from Republican President Donald Trump. The Democrats do want it. They're going to introduce a bill on Monday for the $2,000 stimulus checks, a standalone bill that will be voted on, cannot be objected on. Everybody's going to have to vote on it, and is likely to pass the House, but then it's going to have to go to the Senate, which is Republican controlled. We only need a few votes from the Republicans in the Senate, but it might look very, very bad if they don't pass this stimulus check bill in the Senate, which is coming from President Donald Trump. So imagine the $2,000 stimulus check demand comes from President Donald Trump, and then the Republicans in the Senate vote no. And then literally a few days later is the Georgia runoff seat for the Senate. And then the Republicans are going to ask you to vote for them, but they're going to be like, yeah, but we just voted no on $2,000 stimulus checks. You let me know how you think that's going to go, because I personally think if the Republicans don't vote yes on the stimulus check bill, they're probably going to lose both of those seats in the Senate runoff races, basically the Senate revote, the Senate tiebreaker vote election. So I think the Senate needs to pass this. The Republicans need to pass this, because if not, I think they're going to take the hit in the Senate runoff races, and they could lose the majority of the Senate, lose the lead of the Senate, simply by not passing this $2,000 stimulus check bill that is coming from their own president, who is a Republican. Let me know your thoughts on it down below in the comments. Joe Biden actually released a press release today, which is very kind of uncommon for him. On the stimulus package, it says statement by President-elect Joe Biden on the need to sign the COVID-19 economic relief bill. It says it is the day after Christmas and millions of families don't know if they'll be able to make ends meet because of President Donald Trump's refusal to sign an economic relief bill approved by Congress with an overwhelming and bipartisan majority. This abdication of responsibility has devastating consequences. Today, about 10 million Americans will lose unemployment insurance benefits in just a few days. Government funding will expire, putting vital services and paychecks for military personnel at risk. In less than a week, a moratorium on eviction expires, putting millions at risk of being forced from their homes over the holidays. Delay means more small businesses won't survive this dark winter because they lack access to the lifeline they need. And Americans face further delays in getting the direct payments, stimulus checks, they deserve as quickly as possible to help deal with the economic devastation caused by this pandemic. And while there is hope with the vaccines, we need funding to be able to distribute and administer them to millions of Americans, including frontline health workers. This bill is critical. It needs to be signed into law now. But it is also a first step and down payment on more action that we'll need to take early in the new year to revive the economy and contain the pandemic, including meeting the dire needs for funding to distribute and administer the vaccine and to increase our testing capacity. In November, the American people spoke clearly that now is a time for bipartisan action and compromise. I was heartened to see members of Congress heed that message, reach across the aisle, and work together, which they did. They passed the bill in both the Senate and the House. President Trump should join them and make sure millions of Americans can put food on the table and keep a roof over their heads in this holiday season. Meanwhile, President Donald Trump continues to try to get more and more Republican senators on board with signing the $2,000 stimulus check, which it looks like he has done with Republican Senator Lindsey Graham, who now says that he knows that President Donald Trump wants these $2,000 stimulus checks and he is on board with them. Question is, can President Donald Trump continue to gather more Republican senators where he only needs about 13 Republican senators, way less than half of the amount of Republican senators that voted for the $900 billion stimulus package? He needs less than half of those Republican senators to say yes again to the $2,000 stimulus package bill, which we will see here in just a matter of hours. Also, let me bring you guys another mortgage and rental assistance program that just might pay your rent. Less than half of Harris County's $26 million in rent relief has been claimed by tenants. This is where Houston is, in Houston, Texas. Just $14 million of the county's allocated $40 million has been paid out through the Baker Ripley Rent Relief Program. Meanwhile, hundreds of county residents face evictions each week. So if you or anybody you know is from Harris County, Texas, make sure to apply for this before the end of the year, as there's still millions and millions of dollars available, it looks like, in Harris County, Texas, which is where Houston, Texas is. If you know of any other mortgage or rental assistance or stimulus check programs that are going on a state or local city level, comment them down below. I will be trying to bring you guys more and more of these as new episodes going forward. So make sure to stay tuned. Make sure to subscribe. New videos come out at 10 a.m., 3 p.m., and 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Click the bell icon and all notifications if you want to get notifications when we go live. You can click this top video here to watch my newest stimulus check video next. And this video is on my second channel where I did a recent stimulus check video with my wife. You can click on this video here to learn how to start your own Amazon FBA business, where I have dozens of students that have replaced their 9-to-5 income selling products on Amazon, and I teach them how to do that. Click on one of those videos to watch them next. Thanks, guys, and I will see you in the next video.